Hi guys, and welcome to this new video. Today we are continuing the mathematics of deck building series with a really interesting video. Because after the first videos where we introduced the theory, the ideas of consistency, flexibility and resilience, today we are testing, we are getting some numbers. And how to do that? We are using EDOPro. So let me explain what is the idea for this video. You see, when people want to test a deck, usually what they do, they draw a few test hands, maybe 2 or 3, and with that they conclude that, okay, the deck is performing well. But this is simply not enough. If you remember in the first video, we showed that the number of hands we can get from a deck like that with 60 cards is huge. And definitely 2 or 3 are not enough to be even close to a representation of what could be a possible hand. So what are we going to do here? Using EDOPro, we are testing not one hand, not 2, not 3, not 10, not 50, but 100 hand. So this will be maybe a little long as video, but I think it's really worth because it will give us a better idea about what we can expect. And to support us in this, you see here I have some counters on the top. The first one will be the number of hands we are testing, so we will reach 100 as mentioned. And then remember, our objective in this Shaddoll deck is to make construct. So the idea is, out of 100 hands where we start with 5 cards, how many times can we make construct? And why do you see 2 counters here? Because we want to check how many times we can make construct, assuming that opponent has got one end trap, and I will tell you in a while which end traps we are looking at, and if we can make construct if opponent has no end trap. So the first counter here is telling us, okay, how many times can we make construct if opponent has nothing, so we have no interruptions. The second one is telling us how many times we can make construct if opponent has got at least one hand trap among Ash and Gamma. So why did I choose those? Because at least here they are the most common. Of course, some people is also running Nibiru, some people is running Bell, some people is running Schoolmeister and so on. But the end traps that are really disrupting our play are Ash and Gamma. So we assume that opponent may or may not have them. Now, the reason why we are counting these 2 numbers is because later, in next videos of this series, we will use this information to take some decision about the deck building. But this will be clear in the future. For now, for the purpose of this video, we want to count, again, how many times we can make construct starting first, assuming opponent has no end trap and opponent has at least one end trap among Ash or Gamma. To be really precise, we should distinguish if opponent has got Gamma or Ash or maybe both of them. But this will complicate everything. We can still do that, but let's see in the future. For now, let's just use these assumptions. And this is a quick recap of the deck we are using. So it's a small modification of the version 3, and then I will probably upload a new video. But again, we have the usual 3 Squamata, 3 Wendy, 2 Hedgehog, 2 Ariel, 2 Dragon, 1 Beast, 1 Hound, 1 Falco, 1 Kiosk, the light one, and then the new Shaddoll from the OCG, the Void. Then we have 2 Clowns, 1 Armageddon Knight, the small hero package, so Vion, Shadow Mist and Honest Neos, 2 Magistus Ver, 1 Black Sheep to search for polymerization, Ecclesia and Fleur de Lis for the Dogmatica package, and then hand trap we have the Gamma and Ghost Ogre. And these will conclude our 34 monster. Out of them, 17 are Shaddoll. Then for the spell cards, we have Instant Fusion, Foolish Burial, Nadir, that now in OCG is limited to 1, by the way. And then we have Rota, 3 Poly, 3 Magistus Invocation, 3 Shaddoll Fusion, 3 A Shaddoll Fusion, 2 Super Poly, also limited to 2 in OCG, 1 Emergency Teleport. And finally, we have 7 traps, so we have 2 Resh, 1 Schism, 1 Core, 2 Dinomiscus, and finally 1 Punishment. For the extra deck, we have 3 Construct, 2 Upcalon, 2 Winda, 1 Entity that is basically the target for Nadir and Punishment, and then we have the Mad Dragon. Then we have Baguska, and for the Link package we have Gravity Controller, Mascherina, Cross Ship, Abramax, and BLS. For now we don't look at the side deck, so let's start. Number 1. Okay, question. Can we make here Construct? So let's have a look. Of course, I could summon Vion. Okay, Vion will give us access to Polymerization and Honest Ions. Then we have the light target, we have the Shaddoll, and also we have the Fusion. So definitely, if there is no interruption, we can make Construct. But what if opponent has got 1 interruption? Now, in this case, can we still make Construct? Yes, we can, because we have Instant Fusion. So, imagine, for example, that opponent has got Ash or Gamma. So we try to normal summon Vion. And what is going to happen most of the time, because they know that Vion is helping us find polymerization, they will kill this guy with either Ash or Gamma. So this will not work, right? We will not have light, it will not happen. But what can we do if this guy is deactivated with Ash or even killed with Gamma? We can still go with Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion will summon him, right? And at this stage, we can make it light. And because now it's light, and we assume that the interruption has been used already on Gamma, on Vion, we can fuse, for example, Dragon and this, and then we have our Construct. So this hand was able to play even with 1 interruption. So here we tested 1 hand, no hand trap, we can make Construct. If we have hand trap, in this case we can also make Construct. Okay? New hand. What about this? Well, the problem here is that we don't have any fusion card. Right? We have Instant Fusion, fine, but we don't have a way to get a fusion spell. So in this case, with no interruption or interruption is the same, we cannot make Construct. Next. Well, here is great because actually it's the combo, right? We have Squamata, we have the Clown, and we have this. So even if there are interruptions, we can still play. So in this case, we can make Construct in both cases. Now let's see this one. So here, remember, Magistrus Invocation requires you to use at least 1 Spellcaster. Now, luckily, because these 2 are Psychic, but this one is Spellcaster, we can make it, right? We can make it using, for example, Wendy and Kios. So you see, Kios is very important in this build, also because he's a Spellcaster. So sometimes when we fuse Ariel, or even more importantly, Wendy, to make Construct, having Kios is good. So in this case, yes, we had everything in our hand. So basically, if everything is in our hand, we are less, we have a more resilience against hand traps. This one is not great, because yes, we can set Squamata and Super Poly, but we cannot really make Construct. Or maybe we can. Yeah, actually we can. It's not ideal, but we can. Because again, what is saving us is our friend Mad Dragon. Now, I have to say something. Here, when we activate this effect, if opponent has got Gamma, it could actually kill Mad Dragon. With Ash, not really. But, you know, if now we set this, so if there is no Gamma, we can fuse these 2. We can discard that, and then we have Construct. So this one, I will count it as, okay, if no hand trap, of course we can make it. I will still count because actually, being really honest, yes, Gamma is used, but not as much as Ash. So it's much more likely to find Ash than Gamma. And that's why I was telling you, to be really precise, we should distinguish hands with Ash, hands with Gamma, hands with both. But this will really complicate everything. So let's just simplify for now. Next. Okay, so one thing about Nadir. Of course, Nadir, by sending Abkalon to the graveyard, can give us the spell or the light or the Shaddoll, but then we cannot special summon this turn. So I'm not counting that as a way to make construct, okay? So what can we do here? Well, we need the spell card. No, we need the light card. If we do this, Foolish Burial again, right? What happens? We can send, for example, the Clown, and the Clown is summoned, or we can send, for example, Hedgehog to draw our Kios. Problem is, if we activate these, opponent can block us with Ash, right? If this is blocked by Ash, then with this we cannot make, we cannot really make construct. Of course, we can make Abkalon. Okay, Abkalon. Well, actually, maybe. Let's see. So imagine that this is blocked. Okay, so we say that this was blocked by, I don't know, Ash. Okay, and if not, of course, we can make construct, right? So in this case, it will be another +1 here. But what if we do that? Let's try. So we can summon this guy, because now hand trap is used. So we can use these two and summon him. Now, if we... Let's see what we can do. If we activate this, we can summon the light target. Yeah, but we are not able to do that actually. Because even if we summon Kios, what is going to happen? Well, I mean, my idea was I summon Kios, right? And then if I summon Gravity Controller on top, I can activate him, and then I can get the spell card. Like, oh no, actually I can. No, I cannot, because I still need a Shaddoll monster, right? Yeah, I can make Winda probably, but I cannot make the... Okay, so too bad. So in case there is no interruption, yes, but if there is interruption, we cannot. And it's normal, you know, you should expect this number to be, of course, lower than that. Here, what can we do? Well, nothing. Probably in this case, I will go with Ecclesia and set a punishment, but we cannot do any fusion. So in this case, we have 0. Next. Okay. So here, if there is no interruption, of course, with Vion, you have seen it already, we can get Honest Neos, we have the Shaddoll, fine. Or we can go with the Armageddon Knight and send to the graveyard Squamata to send, or Hedgehog to get our Kios and then do it. But if we have an interruption, for example, either Vion or Armageddon Knight are interrupted by Gamma or Ash, then we have no way to make a construct. So in this case, here we can, here we cannot. This one, no. We need the fusion card and we have no way to get it. So unfortunately, this one is a miss. And this one, yes, here we can. You see, we have the light target, we have the Shaddoll, and we also have the fusion. Everything in our hand, we are happy. So in this case, it's like that. So after 10 hands, we have 7 out of 10 we can make construct, 5 we cannot when opponent has got hand trap. And of course we have to reach 100. So it will still be long. I will be a little faster. But I think it's important that we do this exercise at least once, because now you can really see the difference between having 2 test hands or having 100. It will make a big difference. So let's move on. And if you are really dedicated and you are really interested in improving and understanding what is going on and how to build a better deck, I think these kind of things are really useful. What can we do here? Nothing, no spell. So next. Okay, so this is interesting, because what I will do is I will summon this guy, right? And if this is blocked by Ash or Gamma, fine, we can still use this and fuse, for example, Wendy and Ogre. If it's not blocked, because they are waiting, then it's better. You know, we have 2 cards, then we can use these and or that. So in both cases we can, because even if it's destroyed, this is destroyed by Gamma, then we still have the light target, and we also have the fusion. Of course, if opponent has got Gamma and Ash, it will be a little more challenging, but in this case I would say that is +1 for both. Okay, no problems here. We can go with the usual stuff, Vion, polymerization. So this is, of course, good if there are no interruption. But what if there is an interruption? This is interesting, because what I will do in this case is this: activate Foolish Burial, right, just to bait somehow Ash or something like that. So of course you may say, well, if they block this, if they don't block this because they think we are cheating somehow, then they may block us later. So, well, can we really make it in this case? Right, because what I can do, I can send with Foolish Burial Shadow Mist, for example. Shadow Mist, I take another Vion, and then I summon Vion. And with Vion, I try to get polymerization. So it's possible that they wait to block us later. So I will give it a miss here, because something like that happened in the locals, and then they didn't block this. They wait to see what I was taking, and they block me later. So let's say that this is a +1, but here no. Next. Okay, so again, we have the fusion, we have Hound. We can go with that to send something from the grave, and then if this is blocked, so we want to get our light, right? So we may send, for example, Shadow Mist to get Honest Neos, or we can send Hedgehog to get Chaos. If this is blocked, we still have Instant Fusion to get Mad Dragon and change the attribute to Light and Fusion. So in this case, I would say that is a yes in both cases. Now, this one again, if everything goes well with Vion, we can. If they block Vion, then unfortunately we are dead. So I would say is yes here, but not here. Okay. Now, in this case, this one is not useful because there is no spellcaster here. If we use this, of course, no entrap we can do. We can get construct, but if they block us, this one can be blocked by Ash. In case you don't know, even if you fusion summon with materials from your hand, because this card in the text is written that you can use cards from your deck, then Ash can block it even though you are using materials from your hand. So in this case, I would say that no entrap, we can make construct, but if there is Ash, we can't. This one actually is well, the problem here is that we don't have the Shaddoll monster, right? So what can we do? Well, we activate Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion, we get Winda. At this stage, we can try to fusion. If they stop us with Ash, Well, what do? We summon this guy, we get our Magistrus invocation, and then we can still go on, because this is a spellcaster, this as well. So I would say in both cases is okay. Here, same thing. We have the Shaddoll, we need the light and the fusion. This will give us everything if it's not blocked. So yes, yes, and no. We have the fusion, we have the light, and we have also the Shaddoll. And this is a spellcaster, so that's great. See, also having Dogmatica is important because they are spellcasters, so there is a good synergy with the Magistrus invocation. Finally, well, this one is really not great. We have no monster, and even if we can get one with this guy, we still need another one, so this is a miss for both. So that's not bad. You see, we have 15 out of 20 we can make constructs so far, if no interruptions, but if we have interruption, only 9 out of 20. That is no surprise. Next round. We need the spell here. If we get the spell with this guy, is fine because we have the light, and then also we have the Shaddoll. But if this is blocked by Ash or Gamma, then we can't. So in this case, yes here, but no here. What about this one? Okay, we have lights, fine. We have the fusion card, great. We can get a Shaddoll monster with Foolish or this. So in case no interruption, we can do it. In case there is interruption, what happens is, okay, let's put it this way. If we use Foolish to get a Shaddoll and they block us, we can still instant fusion, get Winda, and then summon construct using Winda and one of these two. If they don't block us, so we can get a Shaddoll monster, then we can fuse. But then you say, okay, this one could be blocked by Ash. So what can we do? In this case, I will do this then. To be more resilient, I will send with this guy the Shadow Mist. And this is very interesting because this way you are basically able to use Foolish Burial to get a fusion card. So you get your Vion. Now you summon Vion, and the idea is if I summon Vion and they use Ash here, then I can use this. If they don't use Ash, then I can use Poly, right? And then I can still use instant fusion to get my Shaddoll monster. So in every case, if there is one interruption, I'm going to get construct. So we can count it as a +1 for both of them. Let's see this one. Shaddoll, yes. Fusion card, yes. Light, no. This one can give us the light. There are, well, in this case, there is one way only, because we have already Shadow Mist in our hands. So what can we do? We have to send our, for example, well, we can send Squamata. Squamata can send Hedgehog, and this guy can give us Chaos, right? And now we have the light, we have the Shaddoll, we have the fusion. Great. Of course, if this guy is stopped, we have no way to get the light, so we cannot make construct. Maybe we can make Winda, but our objective is construct. So this is a +1/+1, but no construct if hand trap. Let's see here. Well, this is great. Magistrus invocation, Shaddoll monster, and 3 clown. Light. So ideal scenario. Here, well, we need the fusion card, right? So again, it's one of the example you have already seen. If everything goes well with Vion, fine. We get the light and we have the polymerization. This is the Shaddoll, we are happy. If no, then we are dead. So yes, yes, and no. So you start to see here that it's very important to take into account the hand of opponents. So how many hand traps and which hand traps. That's why later in the next videos, when we are looking for the numbers, the consistency of our deck, of course we are going to consider also the probability that opponent has got an hand trap or not. What can we do here? Well, this is great. We have Aquamata, and then we have Fleur-de-Lis, the light, and the polymerization. So we can just go with that. Next. Okay, this one is interesting. So if everything goes well, we can at least make construct if we are not interrupted. So if they block us emergency teleport with Ash, for example, of course is not great. They cannot block it with Gamma, but let's always assume the worst case. So they have Ash. They have Ash, they block us. If they don't, what can we do? We can summon our Ghost Ogre, so a light target, and then we can summon, normal summon one of them. We can use then Super Poly. Not great, but if the objective is making construct, then yes, we can make it. So I would say in this case, we can make construct if no interruption, but of course if opponent has got Ash, then yeah, it's not great. Next. No fusion card. Too bad. Next. Okay, here again, same thing. If Ash, we cannot. If no Ash, then yes, we have the Shaddoll and we have the light. So in this case, it's like that. Here, okay, we have lights, many lights, but we don't have any fusion card and we don't have any Shaddoll card. So what can we do here? If we summon this, then we can get a fusion card, but we still need a Shaddoll. This guy, if we summon the Armageddon Knight, we can get a Shaddoll, but not the fusion. If we summon the Vion, we can get a fusion, so the polymerization, but no Shaddoll. So in this case, we cannot really do much. So 23 out of 30, not bad. 12 out of 30. This is the update score so far. Let's move on. This one, okay, of course, light and Shaddoll, and then if this is blocked, we can still use this. So this is the ideal case. This one, again, this card is great, but if it's blocked by Ash, we cannot really proceed, otherwise we can. We have a Shaddoll and a light. So this count here, but not here. What about this? Shaddoll, yes. Light, yes. Fusion, yes. So it's great. Light, Shaddoll, fusion. Perfect. Wow, we are in a good spot now. 27 out of 34, I have to say, is quite good. But of course, the numbers can change when we reach 100. You know, we can have a bad series of no fusion, like this one, for example. We have no Shaddoll in our hand, so we cannot really proceed. Maybe I should not have said that. Yeah, you see, when I speak, yeah, look now, we have a Shaddoll, and then we can have light with the Mud Dragon, but we don't really have any fusion spell. So again, we cannot do much. Okay, this is better. We have the Shaddoll, and this is also... oh wait, but we need the light. That's a problem. We need a light monster. So what can we do here? Well, let's see. If we fusion these two, we can get an Upcalon, and this guy can summon a light monster. Yes, and yeah, maybe it's possible if, of course, if there are no interruptions, right? If there are interruptions, we cannot do much. But in case there is no interruption, let's see if we can. So maybe we can summon with these two guys, we can summon Upcalon, right? Now what do we need? We need a light monster, and then we also need a fusion, right? So what can we do? Well, for example, we can send, let's say this, and then this. So this one can summon, for example, YuGiOh, but even discarding that would make, like, I will show you later. So let's say we summon YuGiOh, okay, and maybe Squamata can send to the grave, I don't know, Hedgehog. Actually, we have different options here. Yeah, well, let's say Hedgehog. And then with Hedgehog, we can take another Shaddoll monster. That can be Beast. Now, what do? We can summon Gravity. That's why it's very important to make the Shaddoll on the extra zone. And then with the effect of this guy, what do? We take the fusion, take this, because this is subject to Ash, this not. And then we can discard this guy. So when this is discard, we can even take either Vion if we need, or we can even take this, you know, the light monster if we didn't want to summon that. And then of course we have Shaddoll, we have the fusion, and then we have the light. We are done. So it was a little more complicated, but still we can get Construct. But if Entrap, you know already when Apkalon is in the graveyard, then Ash can kill us. Okay, this one we have the Shaddoll and we have the light, so it's a good situation. Let's see now. Well, here you can see clearly that we don't have any Shaddoll. The trap, yes, he can become a monster, but next turn. But we want to make Construct this turn. So again, when you see that we don't make Construct, doesn't mean that we cannot do anything. We can still set somehow a board. It's just that we cannot reach the objective of making Construct. Okay, here you can see already. With this guy we can get the light target and the polymerization. We have also another fusion, so if no interruption we can make Construct with Hedgehog and the light target. If interruption on this, then we cannot really get the light target, hence we cannot get Construct. So this is a +1, but not here. Wow, 3 out of 4 we can make Construct, and 1.6 out of 4, not so bad. Next, definitely we can. Even this is block, we can use this because this is a spellcaster, this is a light. So it's +++. What about this? Well, we need a spell and I don't see any way to get it. Yeah, so no. Okay, great. We have the fusion card, we have the Shaddoll, and then we have this. If you had to use this, I would suggest you to fuse with this guy, because if Driver is in the graveyard, you can still use Gamma. Okay? So this is a +1/+1/+1. Okay, as before, we can use Vion, but okay, we also have this. So Shaddoll plus light plus fusion. Maybe it's not the ideal combination of Shaddoll, but we can still make Construct. Oh, I clicked 2 times, sorry. Here what do we have? We have a spell card. This guy can give us... Well, I would not summon this, because now you know what we need? We need a Shaddoll card, right? So we have only one way to go, that is activate reinforcement of the army, get Armageddon Knight, and then with Armageddon Knight we need to get a Shaddoll monster. So there is, you know, one way to get is to send Hedgehog, for example, and then Hedgehog can send can get us whatever we want, or we could send Squamata that sends Wendy, for example, and then we get you know, to summon Shaddoll. But yeah, again, the problem is if Entrap, we are dead. So this is good, this is good, this is not. Okay, we are almost at 50%. I know that is a little maybe time consuming, but I think it's really important, I want to stress it again, to do this at least once. This is not something you find, and probably this video will not even be receiving a lot of views because it's too long, but I don't care. I care about teaching you something that may be useful for you, not just to get views. What can we do here? Okay, that's interesting. So what we can do here is, well, nothing, because we don't have any Shaddoll. That's it. So next, we have the light, we don't have the fusion, and we also don't have Shaddoll. So in theory, if everything goes well, with Rota we can get Vion and get the polymerization, and with Foolish we can send like Hedgehog and get, I don't know, maybe Squamata. So no entrap, we can make it, but of course if there is an entrap, then no. What about this? Well, this is great. We have the Damage Juggler, we have a Shaddoll monster, this or that. We have Polish, so plus, plus, plus. Here we miss the light target. So you see, one option would be to use extra deck, for example, by putting the Magistus link. You know, you can summon, for example, this guy, who the dragon is a spellcaster, then you summon the link Magistus, that is a light, and then you can fuse. But we are not running the link Magistus in our extra deck because the space is tight. So in this case, well, let's see, because these two can give us Upkalon, right? So if we make Upkalon here, and then this one is summoning a light monster, then Upkalon is going to the graveyard. We need the other spell to be able, yeah, but we still need the, we still need another, yeah, and we cannot. We still need another Shaddoll monster. Yeah, because even if we send Core to the graveyard, we can just recycle one spell, not one monster. Yeah, so this one we cannot really. What about this? Well, we have the light, we have the spell card, and we have the Shaddoll spellcaster, so it's great. 50, 37. Okay, so let's wait here for a while and then look at the numbers. 37 out of 50 is basically a 74% so far, and this is a 42%. Okay, so this is already giving you some idea. Of course, out of all the possible hundreds of thousands of hands, even 100 is a stupid number in a way. But you will see in the next videos that we are using something from probability to get an idea about the real probability of making construct. Because there is a way to assess, to get some range in a way, to say, okay, I draw 100 hands, so I cannot say that this is the real probability, because if I draw another 100 hands, it will be a different number, but I can get some kind of confidence interval. Okay, but this will be next video, so let's just continue with the test first, this empirical evaluation. Can we make construct? Yes, we can. We have a light, we have a Shaddoll, we have even 3 choices. You know, even if they block this, we can still make that. So yes, yes, yes. Again, Shaddoll, spell, light. Yes. No, here we have super poly, but so yeah, we can make a board for the next turn. Maybe we can set this and that, but we cannot really make construct here. Nadir, Nadir, yeah, but for the next turn. The problem is that we don't have any Shaddoll. I mean, if you use Nadir, we can get something, but this one will give us the spell. This will give us spell and light, but still we need the Shaddoll monster that I cannot see how we can get it. So not really. By the way, something that I want to mention here, even if we get the Magistus invocation or the polymerization, we can still fuse one of these two guys with this and make the Mad Dragon, and so we can also make Baguska. Okay, this is interesting. So I just want to show you here. Of course, we cannot make construct, but just to show you what you can maybe do if you are in this situation. So, for example, you can summon this, but just show you with this, right? Yes. So we want to get the spell, right? And now, because these two, they have same attribute but different type, then we can fuse them and we can make him. We can even summon this. And now what you can do, well, you could, for example, BLS I don't suggest because it's not really protected, but you know, you can make Baguska. If you make Baguska with this guy, actually when you detach it as a material, you can resummon it. Because this one is 800 only. I mean, the other option is to say, well, I want to be a little more defensive, so I want to use these two guys, right? But this can change attribute later. So, well, it depends on what you want to do. Okay, but let's say that you want to make with these two. You can make your Baguska. And at least you have some line of defense. That's why I like Baguska, you know. It's still good at stopping many things that start from normal or special summon, unless they are linked. This is not great against Salaman, because they can go to the link summon, and of course link don't go into defense position, but this is still something at least to try to survive. And if you have your Dogmatica cards, you may also be able to set something else. But anyway, for construct, no. What about this? We have the light, we have the Shaddoll, we have the spell. If they stop us with Ash, well, we can try to summon this and see if they stop this guy with the hand trap, but you know, it's still quite weak, because in any case this will not be able to give us access to any spell. So we can make construct if no interruption, but otherwise not really. What about this? Well, here, okay, we can not make construct, but I just want to show you, if we make this, if we use this, we can get a polymerization. Now, if this is blocked, fine, but we still have the normal summon. So it's a little more resilient in this respect compared to Vion. But yeah, here what we can do is we can make again Apkalon. Oh, you know, maybe we can actually make it, because if we make Apkalon, right, and then Apkalon is here, and yeah, I think we can make if no interruption, because see, is what we show last time with Apkalon. So we make it here, right, and then what we are going to do with this guy, we can send something, but with her we can, for example, summon the Kios, and that's why Kios is important. It's not the best Shaddoll, but it's light, and then it can be searched. You see, in situations like that, that's when you really see the importance of Kios. And then let's say you don't want to fuse again with this, what could you use? Maybe Beast, so at least you draw something. Let's see if we are lucky. Well, yeah, see, we can fuse it. We could have sent Hedgehog to take something else, but even if we were not lucky, what can we do? Well, we summon Gravity. gravity controller, this guy. Yes. So we take our this card. Yeah, maybe, you know, if we send Hedgehog, we can have something else in our hands. So now we can discard whatever, and then we can make construct with these two, right? So great, we made construct. So sometimes it's not intuitive, but we can still make it. It's just a little more convoluted in a way. Yeah, so let's move on. Yes, but of course, if the black sheep was stopped by hand trap, then we cannot. This one is clearly no spell. This one is a clear no as well, because we have no Shaddoll. Okay, we have the Shaddoll, we have the light, and we have the Luna light to get the fusion. So if everything goes well, this one is great. We got Poly, we can. If this is blocked by Ash or Gamma, then we can't. So this is a +1, but 0 here. Well, here again we need a Shaddoll. We can still make the, you see, with these two, Spellcaster and Psychic, both of them are light. We can still make the Mad Dragon with this, but we cannot make Construct. 60. Well, not bad. Okay, here is great. We have Shaddoll, we have Magistrus Ver, and we have the spell. So we have everything in our hand. It's great. This one is not great because we don't have the spell. I mean, Nadir again, we can. Maybe we can get the quick spell for the next turn. We can set something, but cannot really make it this turn. Here, yes, great. We can use this and this with Poly, and then we get our construct. So it's +1, +1, +1. Okay, what about this? Well, here you see, if you use Armageddon Knight and it's not blocked, you can again send something like the Hedgehog to get Chaos, or you can send Shadow Mist to get Honest Neo. So we have the light. What if this guy is blocked by, for example, Ash or Gamma? Then we can only fuse these two to make Upkalon. But in this case, the problem is that after having done that, we need still the spell, the Shaddoll, and also the light. So the problem is that even if we send him to the, or her, Upkalon, to the grave with Gravity Controller, is not enough. So this is good if there is no interruption, but otherwise not really. Okay, what about this? This is interesting. This is quite interesting. So what do you guys think? Like, if you see a hand like that, would you think it's possible to make construct? Because see, if we make again Upkalon here, with this guy we can summon a Shaddoll, but we don't really need a Shaddoll, we have one in hand. Now, if we have a Shaddoll, then we need the light. We can send, we can summon like Chaos, for example. Let's say we summon Chaos. So we have the light, we have another Shaddoll in our hand, and when we send Upkalon to the grave with the Gravity Controller, we can get the other Shaddoll fusion, and then we can make construct. Or we can even summon this one and use the cross ship. Let's try this. So what if we summon this And then we can make Upcolon with these two, of course. Now we activate her. And then we can summon. We don't really need now to summon the light, because light, if we use, for example, cross ship, we can have the light. So what would be another, maybe can be beast, so we draw, or squamata. Let's say beast. Now what we do here, if we summon cross ship, now there are two effects. So this is great because we can even chain block. If this is 1 and this is 2, right, Ash cannot really block Upcolon this way. So chain blocking is important in this deck. So here we can get the light monster. Great. And with Upcolon, what can we get? Well, we can get this. And we can discard this. And then we can activate this to make our construct that, by the way, will trigger the cross ship as well. Right, so we can have chain link 1, for example, and then we can have 2 here, and then we can have 3 here. See, so we are able really to do a lot. You know, we can send a core now, or we can send schism, whatever we want, and we can even summon again one of them. Right, so you see the flexibility that you get with these cards, you know, from something that seems to be a little bricky, now we have construct +2. So again, this is plus, but hand trap, no. Next. Okay, so here we need both the Shaddoll and the light. No, this one is not easy, because even if with this guy we take the Armageddon Knight and then we get a Shaddoll, we still need the light, and no, this one is a no. Here we have, well, again, Black Sheep can give us polymerization, but then, because we are not running the Link Magistus, we cannot really get a light out of them, so no. But we can make Winda. We still need the light, so is another no. Okay, what about this? Well, Foolish, we can send Hedgehog, get Squamata, then Fuse, fine. But if this is blocked, then we can't. So it's good if no entrap, but otherwise not really. What about this? Well, here we need the light, right? Emergency teleport. We can get, for example, Ogre. And then we can fuse Ogre and Hedgehog to get Construct. Of course, if opponent has Ash, we can't. So +1, but not here. Okay, this is great. We use a Shaddoll fusion with these two, and then we get Construct. So next, light, Shaddoll, and fusion. Great. Next, Shaddoll, light, and fusion. Great. Light, and also Shaddoll. So with emergency, we can take Shaddoll if we want, or light. So what I mean is that if we want to use this as Shaddoll, with this we were to get, for example, Gamma or Ogre. I prefer Ogre, because if we recycle it with the ship, it's still valid, because we can activate it from the field. If we want to use this as a light, then we need to get Wendy with that. And then we have the, the fusion here, and then this is also a spellcaster. So if no hand trap, we can. What if hand trap? Well, let's see. If I will start with foolish, right? And with foolish, I will say, well, here I need either a Shaddoll or a light. So let's say that I want to use the Shaddoll, so I send Hedgehog and then I get Squamata. If this is blocked by Ash, then I can go with this one. So if there is one entropy, I can still go through because I can, if this is blocked, okay, I can go with this. If this is not blocked, I can make construct. So in this case, I will count it as a plus even for the hand trap version. What about this? Great, Light, Spellcaster, Squamata, and Magistrus Invocation. Everything in our hand, we are happy. Again, perfect. Light, Spellcaster, that is also Shaddoll, and well, we can also use this. Yeah, we have many options here. I would rather go with that usually because when your fusion monster, Shaddoll monster, goes to the graveyard, you can recycle it. If you use this one, you cannot. But this is definitely a plus for both. Okay, what about this? This is interesting. We have a Shaddoll in our hand that is great. We have a fusion card that cannot be stopped by Ash. We also have that. Great. We need a light. So two ways to get the light. Either with this Mad Dragon and then we change attribute that can be blocked by, of course, Gamma, but if so, we can still get Chaos with that, or we can use this to send Shadow Mist to get Honest Neos. So in both cases, we can make it. Great. Whew. No way to get a fusion. So, too bad. What about this? Well, again, reinforcement of the army, you understood already, right? We have two ways to get the light. We can go the Armageddon Knight, Hedgehog, Squamata, Hedgehog, whatever you want, and Chaos, or we can go to the Vion, Shadow Mist, and Honest Neos. Problem, these can be blocked by Ash. And also the monster can be blocked by Gamma. So I would say that this is good if no hand trap, but otherwise, not really. Here we have no way to get our Shaddoll, so unfortunately, no. Okay, last 20. Stay with me. We have the spell, we have the Shaddoll, and we have the light. But these, again, can be blocked by Ash, so I would say +1/+1, but not here. Here we have... Okay, we need the light, we don't have the light, so... cannot really make construct. What about this? We can make, of course, with this Mad Dragon, and that's why I like this card, because it's great. It can be used for Baguska, it can be used for construct to change, changing attribute. It can even protect your monster. Like I made a video, if this becomes dark, they cannot target your Winda, and that's great because Winda cannot be targeted and cannot be destroyed. It's not easy to deal with. Then with this light monster, we can go the usual way. Yeah, we make construct. Of course, if there are end traps like this, can be ashed. The effect of the Mad Dragon can be, you have Gamma, so we can make it, but only with the situation where opponent has no hand traps. So plus, not here. Next. Wow, 3 Squamata, that's great. What do we need here? Light and polymerization, so you understood already, we need to go the Vion way. That's why I like Vion. It's really flexible because, look, in this situation, you can basically go almost, if you are not interrupted, of course, almost full combo. Because here, what do you do? The same thing as this one. Then we get our light. You get your... Of course, the drawback is that when you send your fusion to the grave, you will not be able to get your spell back. But who cares, you know? If I make construct this way, you know, using the Honest Neos and Squamata, is basically full combo with the ship. You know, the one I show you many times, so you use, and you have seen probably many times. So with Squamata, you know, you send Rash, and with this guy you send your Wendy, and then Wendy will summon Ariel, and then here you make the ship, and then you summon back construct. So it's yeah, great. Just with Vion, because Vion is great because it's able to fix 2 out of 3 of the issues. That means light and fusion. Of course, Vion can be blocked by Ash and Gamma. So yeah, we cannot count it as here. And you see here one thing that sometimes happens online. You click yes because you think you have something to take, but you have only this. So don't worry, if this happens, you can still go on, but then you chain Rash. So by chaining Rash, it will still work, you know. So you are still able to go through the combo where you summon back your construct, and then you have your ship. That I suggest you use ship as chain link 1, especially if you have your Armageddon Knight, because then you will be able to use the effect again. And here you can send your Schism. And other thing that I want to show you since we are here, the second effect of Vion is not a hard once per turn. So when you summon Vion here, then you can activate it again. You can banish the other monster, and then you get a second poly. So same turn, 1 light and 2 poly. That's crazy. And here you can make your Masquerina if you want. You can polymerization and make I don't know, something else, maybe an Upcalon, or you can make another construct. You really have many options. But anyway, +1, and nothing here. Well, this is not super great, but let's see. So if we fuse these two, we can make Winda. Now when Winda is here, then this one can give us Vion. But if we get Vion, then we cannot get again we cannot use again the effect, because it's like, if we use this to make Winda, Shadow Mist is already used, so we cannot really, unless we make the ship. So let's see. I mean, it's interesting also to think about this, right? So let's take a while. If we use this guy now, we cannot really make I mean, we can get Vion, but then Vion is not able to give us the light monster. If we make Winda with these two, what happens? Well, he can send Hedgehog and give us Kyo, so we have the light monster, right? And then this one we can summon, make with these two, like the Winda and this, we can make a ship, for example. And then we can get Vion But then we need the Shaddoll. Well, it will work only if we are lucky and with the beast we get a Shaddoll monster. Oh, let's see. So what? Oh, yeah, we could make... Ah, yeah, true. We could have made also the Mad Dragon with these two. Then, yeah. I think we yeah, it's my mistake. If we made Mad Dragon with these two, right? Then Mad Dragon is light. Then this guy can give us Vion, and Vion can give us the Poly, and then we have the Shaddoll and the light. So yeah, we can make it actually. Yeah. So even if we don't draw, still possible. You see, I mean, even now the Mad Dragon I didn't think about, but it would have been the way to go. Oh well, we are lucky. So yeah, what was the idea here? The idea is now with the Squamata we can send these, and then we can get our Kios. So we have the light, we are happy. We summon these, and we make the ship. Or Mascherina, whatever. Now, what happens is, with the Shadow Mist, we can get our Vion. And then Vion, we can send another Vion, or... Well, I will not send another Vion, actually. Because... Oh, well, actually, we cannot. We already... Yeah. We already normal summon. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, I think if we use as I said, if we use the Mad Dragon, so if we go back and we use the Mad Dragon with the Shadow Mist, and for example Squamata, we make Mad Dragon, right? And Mad Dragon is light. Shadow Mist goes to the graveyard, then we can take Vion, we summon Vion, we get the fusion, and then we still have Shaddoll in our hands, so we can make it. But of course, you know, since we have to go through Vion, if we have hand trap, we can't. No Shaddoll, too bad. What about this? Also no Shaddoll. What about this one? Well, we have a Shaddoll if we use this. Right, this one, we get a Shaddoll and then we fuse with Gamma, so here we can, here, yes, but this one, no, because again, we have to go through Armageddon Knight, that is weak against Entraps. What about this? We have Light, we have Shaddoll, we have the Fusion. And, of course, this can be blocked by Ash, but in that case, we can take Vion with that, and then we can get Poly. So unless opponent has 2 hand traps, we can do it. But here we are assuming that opponent has got 1 hand trap, so let's go. We don't have the fusion here. Yeah, so we cannot really. Okay, 62 out of 90. Let's see if we are lucky with the last 10. Number 1, no. No Shaddoll. Then here, Shaddoll, yes, see, Shaddoll, and then also Light and Fusion, so plus. Do we have the Light? Well, yes, with the Mad Dragon, and then we have a Shaddoll, and then we have a Fusion, but if opponent got Gamma, he can kill us, but let's assume it's more likely he's got Ash than Gamma, so this is one of the cases where I would say, well, let's count it. Okay, next. Oh, great. Shaddoll, Light, and even 3 ways to fuse. Let's see if we can reach... Well, it would be great if we can reach 70. Light, Shaddoll, 2 lights actually, and Fusion. Yes. Let's go. Again, yes, light, Shaddoll, and fusion. Ah, not this one. This one we don't have any spell, but we can still make it. Okay, light, Shaddoll, and fusion. Okay, light, Shaddoll through this, and fusion. But if entrap, this one cannot give us the Shaddoll, so it's only here. Let's see. Oh god. No, we don't have access to the fusion. Okay, we can only make, I don't know, wind. You know, in this case, for example, well, not in this case actually, but in some cases, having Verte Anaconda may help us. But again, Verte Anaconda is quite, you need to be careful, because we are not running Dragoon. In OCG we can't, but yeah, that's the final result. So just to summarize, we were able to make Construct if opponent has no entrap 69% of the time, and if opponent has got at least one entrap among Gamma and Ash, then 39% of the time. Is it great? Is it not? Does it mean that we can make Construct 70% of the time if everything goes well? No, because if I run other 100, I may get a different number, right? So the thing is this: we need to analyze these numbers to get, as I said earlier, some kind of confidence interval. So this number can only tell us that, knowing that we draw 100 hands and we got a positive result 69% of the time and a negative one in 31, and here is 39% positive and 61 negative. Using these values, we can estimate what is the real probability, meaning to say, if we really draw all the possible 5 cards of the deck, that will be insane. That will be the real probability. But with this small sample, we can still get some kind of rough estimation of the real probability of making Construct in the two cases. But this will be the topic for the next video. And why are we doing that? Because eventually what we want is to have, as I mentioned at the beginning, a framework to be able to assess the quality of a deck and to decide if one build is better than another one. Of course, this doesn't mean that we have to go through this every single time. Actually, there is a fastest way, but is maybe less accurate in a way. I just wanted to show you this for two reasons mainly. One, because it will be useful to get these numbers for doing the next calculations. And the second one, because I hope you realize that it's not enough to draw 2, 3, 4 test hands and show what we can do. You have seen how many different situations we found here. Some of them I not even seen earlier. You know, those where you have to go through Upcalon, for example, to get your Construct. This is where you start to learn all the tricks and all the interaction in your deck. Not because you draw 2 hands and then you say, okay, yeah, that's how it works. No. So I hope this exercise was really, of course, time consuming, I know, but really useful for you to see what you can do to give you some ideas maybe for your own build. And I hope to see you to the next video where we are using, as I say, these numbers. So subscribe to this channel if you have not yet done so, and also click the notification bell so when I upload the new one, because I'm sure now you want to know what we do with these numbers. We don't spend like 1 hour or even more just to get numbers and then we don't do anything with them. I guess you also want to know what is going on, so make sure you are subscribed and notified, so next time we will really find out what these numbers mean. Okay? And with that is really all. I think the video is already quite long, so see you next time, guys.